Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
I'm Jessie Cruikshank, and I've always been told I have a face for podcasting. So I launched a podcast. It's called Phone a Friend because each week I'll break down the biggest stories in pop culture. But when I have questions, I get to phone a friend. I'll phone a royal watcher to find out why Prince Harry is acting like a real housewife. I'll phone a tween to please explain Euphoria. And maybe I'll even phone a Backstreet Boy to find out if I still have a chance. I don't? Okay. New episodes drop every Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
Hi, Dave here, and I'm with my wife, Cathy.
Hello.
This is The Cinemile. It's the podcast where we walk home from the movies, and we're off to see one. It's called Terminator, I want to say Dark Fate. Is it Dark Fate?
I have no idea.
Genesis was the last one. You didn't see that?
Don't know. I don't know what ones I've seen.
Have you seen Salvation? That was definitely one.
I've definitely seen 1, 2 and 3. That's all I know.
Okay. So you've seen Rise of the Machines, Judgment Day. They all have such great little subtitles to them. Well, this is our second movie today.
Which we
double bill.
We never, when we were younger, we used to double, triple bill all the time. We never do it anymore, so we're highly excited.
Because the life of a parent makes it very challenging.
Yeah.
But it's Cathy's
having a job.
birthday today. So wish her all a happy birthday, everyone.
What, into their phones?
Say it. Put it out there in the universe. We'll send it from the future. So we saw Judy earlier. We're in a classic double bill, Judy and Terminator mashup. We don't know which one of these you're going to hear first, so because we're going to put it to the Twitter sphere to decide. So maybe the Judy episode's available yet. If not, next week.
I have to say, Judy was such an emotionally devastating movie for me. And I loved it so much, spoiler alert if we haven't released the episode yet, that I don't quite know how I now feel about going to what is potentially a very bad Terminator
even
movie.
More emotionally devastating.
And not in the same good way.
I'm not looking forward to this. All the trailers for this have looked awful.
Oh, I haven't seen any.
I have no desire for more Terminator films because they keep making them worse.
But
somehow.
I had no interest, right? I mean, needless to say, we both absolutely love the first and second Terminators. I had no interest in this one whatsoever until I realised that from the poster that Sarah Connor was in it. So actually, now I'm interested.
Yeah, but no, we're in the era now where everything is just like, remember the past?
Well, look, I get that, but I really like her as an actor.
It's a gimmick. Yeah, oh no, she was great. She's the original and best Sarah Connor.
Because I haven't seen her in anything.
Sorry, Daenerys Targaryen.
I've never seen her in anything except Terminator, so I'm just really interested to see what she's like now. And I believe...
Have you never seen the TV show, was it called Beast? Or was Beauty? She was in a TV series of Beauty and the Beast.
No, sadly.
With 90s trimmings.
I would love to see that.
I think Beast had a mullet.
I would really love to see that. But I think James Cameron is back involved in this, and he had left it for a while and he's come back again.
Yeah, but that's all a gimmick as well. It's
you
all
say
just
gimmick,
like...
but he's a good filmmaker.
No, Arnie's back, and it's like...
Yeah, but
it's
look,
like,
Arnie's
so
always... Arnie's always been back. He's always been in these movies.
Arnie's always been back. I think you're butchering his catchphrase.
He's been in every one of these movies in some shape or form.
I'll always be back.
Isn't he? He's been in all of these movies in some shape or form.
No, not... oh, wait, yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah.
So him being in it is not newsworthy, but Sarah Connor and James Cameron, yeah, that is newsworthy.
Yeah, but Terminator Genesis was so
what was that?
Atrociously bad.
Was that the one with Daenerys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely didn't see that.
And what's his name as John Connor and the other fella.
Anyway,
Jason Clarke was John Connor.
Let's just talk about how great the first two
Kyle
Terminators
Reese was
are.
that other Australian.
Let's just talk about how great the first two.
The first two Terminators are amazing
yeah.
and have not been touched since in terms of quality of the Terminator franchise. What's with filmmakers nowadays? Still trying to make Alien, Predator and Terminator movies because there hasn't been a good one since the 80s.
Yeah, it's very odd.
There just hasn't. So stop it.
Well, technically, wasn't Terminator 2 in the 90s?
Oh, you got me there. Yeah, fine. Okay, Terminator 2 is the last good movie of any of those movies. Same goes for RoboCop. Just like let some things should just stay in the 80s.
And yet
or early 90s.
Here we are, spending the night of my birthday going to see Terminator.
Although,
I want to see it, And loads of people tweeted us today saying it's way better than you think it's going to be.
Yeah, we had a good bit of fun on Twitter. A lot of people are. Yeah, but I'm not listening to anyone because I'm setting my hopes so low that I can only be surprised. So I'm willing to be surprised.
Okay,
I also put out a tweet asking people who they would cast as a Terminator who hasn't been cast as a Terminator out of any actor. And we had some great answers. I put forward Lance Reddick. You and me have always said Lance Reddick.
It's his
He's
walk.
a Terminator.
He walks like a machine and he looks like a machine.
He's got great posture.
He's got great form, great physical form.
We had some good ones. Stephen Cape Goat on Twitter suggested Rickman would have been decent, I think.
Alan Rickman.
Yeah, fair call. He can play any villain.
Yeah, he'd be amazing.
Rabbit Woos is how I'm going to pronounce that. Said Lance Henriksen was cast as the Terminator before Schwarzenegger.
Who's that?
Would have done a good job. He's actually, I think he's in the first Terminator as a police officer, and he's in Aliens. He's in one of the Predators. James Hunt said, I want to see a Michael Cera Terminator, which would be very interesting.
That would be terrible. That would be absolutely terrible.
Well, he wouldn't really blend into a crowd, but he also wouldn't. You'd probably let your guard down around Michael Cera.
I feel like
he
he'd
doesn't
blend
look
in a bit better than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Did anyone suggest any women?
No, but there have been female Terminators. But Daniel Bennyworth Gray just posted a gif of Guy Pearce, which is actually a good shout.
Yeah, Guy Pearce.
Yeah,
obviously, he's good in everything.
Guy Pearce as a sort of maybe a slightly charismatic Terminator. I could see him as a malfunctioning Terminator.
A seductive Terminator.
Oh, sexy Terminator.
Yeah,
Sexinator.
So. Anyway, we need to go.
Yes,
Time
let's
to go
go
see
in.
this movie.
All right, see you on the other side of Terminator Tomorrow Day. Judgment Hour. Strikes Back 2.
My name is Sarah Connor. August 29, 1997. It was supposed to be Judgment Day. But I changed the future. Saved 3 billion lives. Enough of a resume for you?
No. You may have changed the future, but you didn't change our fate. I know you're scared, but I'm here to protect you.
Never seen one like you before. Almost human.
I am human, just enhanced. Why do you care what happens to her?
Because I was her.
Right, we've just seen Terminator Dark Fate. Actually, before we talk about it, I was thinking about my comment. I had some time to think at the end of this movie because I was falling asleep and tuned out. But I had some time to think about my comment earlier about there being no good Aliens or Predators or Terminator
Dave,
movies.
we're not here to talk
And I
about
remembered the movie Predators with Adrian Brody, which was a bright spot on that
Okay, great. We're
dark,
not here
on
to
that
talk
dark
about Predators.
horizon.
What I want to talk about before we talk about the movie is the trailer that we've now seen twice in one day in the cinema, which is this kind of extended ad for the new Apple Watch. And it starts by
That's
going,
what you want to talk about.
This watch tells the time. And then it proceeds to show an entirely dystopian future. This watch can read your heartbeat.
This watch is tracking you from GPS
every
signal.
I'm like, sorry, is this a Skynet ad? Like, honestly, that Apple Watch ad is horrifying. And having seen it like essentially twice in a row, I'm genuinely disturbed by Apple Watches.
Yeah.
Anyway,
before we get on to the review, this
What
episode
else
of
are we
the
gonna
Cinemile
talk
is
about?
brought to you by Apple. The new Apple Watch is available now in stores.
Live your best life.
Apple, we're
it
watching
tells you when to sleep and
We're
breathe.
watching you while
apparently.
you sleep and breathe.
Anyway,
We're listening to you breathing.
Terminator was way better than it had any right to be.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was
I
pretty
really
good.
enjoyed it.
That was a pleasant surprise.
I felt like it was a genuinely feminist movie. I feel genuinely happy, really happy that twice in one day now I've seen two outstanding lead actresses doing outstanding work. Renee Zellweger followed by Linda Hamilton. Incredible. Brilliant actresses.
Yes,
and it's really
but like
rare.
it's kind of it's like it's not. They're not really working on the same level here.
Linda Hamilton's brilliant in this role.
Yeah, hang on. Linda Hamilton's great, but
Yeah.
like what Renee Zellweger did in Judy is far.
But each served
surpasses.
the purpose. Each served the purpose
Yeah,
of the role.
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
very rare to have female leads like that.
Linda
So, yeah.
Hamilton was having a blast,
brilliant.
and I'm so happy to see her back.
So yeah, I actually thought that was brilliant. I honestly really surprised myself of probably 80% of the movie being wholly into it.
Yeah.
I think they did a really, really good job of taking like the 6th movie in a franchise.
6th, yeah.
And it really felt it felt like it should have been the 3rd movie. It could have skipped all the edits.
Yes, yeah.
And it
Well,
made-
do you know what? The 3rd movie had some good ideas.
It made me
It had a
wish
good
that I had
ending.
re-watched the 2nd one before we went into it, because I think they'd sit really well together. So overall, I thought it was really good. There was just one.
I
kind
could
of
enact the
extended-
whole of Terminator
No,
2
you
for
don't
you
need
right
to.
now.
There's
I know
one
it so well.
scene. There was just one scene that I found a bit dull, an action scene set on an airplane, and all the rest of it, the action completely gripped me. Found the characters great. I loved when Arnold Schwarzenegger showed up, and found myself slightly disturbed at how I thought he looked quite attractive.
Okay.
So that was weird for me. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Highly recommended.
Yeah, I thought Mackenzie Davis was great.
Yeah, she's
in this.
brilliant.
She's a great actress.
She's amazing.
And really.
She's
holds-
like Linda
she's-
Hamilton. She's a really physical actress, and she's like very kind of atypical
Yes.
female lead.
But she's got she's got
athletic.
great physicality.
Yeah, she's so athletic.
and tall.
Yeah.
And just like the dude's rug, she really holds the movie together. Really ties the room together. I butchered that. Okay.
What?
Moving on. Okay. I did like that movie as well, and agree. It felt like, particularly at the beginning, it felt like they'd recaptured what made the first 2 Terminators so good, which was that
The Terminator's
sense of-
relentless.
yeah, relentless.
Yeah.
This and whatever the quote is from Kyle Reese in the first one, he'll never stop, he'll never sleep, he'll never tire. Like, I just felt like that Terminator was coming for them.
Yeah.
Again and again
it's
and
like,
again.
Terminator,
And-
take a chill pill, man.
And they sort of perfectly balanced the stakes. Like your heroes have to be the underdogs.
Of course.
Like by a long margin, and that thing needs to seem absolutely
It
unstoppable.
was an amazing Terminator.
He was great.
Yeah. I
Really,
found him really terrifying.
really good. Diego Luna is the actor's name.
When
I
we
think.
get to Spoiler Street, we'll talk about his capabilities, because they were awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought this was a pleasant surprise. Really, really funny in parts. Genuinely funny.
Every line Arnie had was like comic gold.
Yeah, everything they did with Arnie was good. Now the movie did lose me in the last 40 minutes, I'd say.
Same.
Like, it just became a
It's just a little bit
pretty much
too-
as you said. I agree. Let's talk about the plane bit in spoilers. But it just became it was like just like a Terminator. It was relentlessly showing me action over and over again without any breathing space, and I was just like, I absolutely tuned out, and I started sinking in my seat and falling asleep.
Did you wish you'd an
and
Apple Watch
how are
telling you
supposed
how
to-
you felt?
Yeah, the Apple Watch waking me up and monitoring my heart rate, saying, "Dave, you're falling asleep, missing the movie." I just feel like that. It's ironic. It's ironic to be bored by big explosions and like just everything.
It's not ironic, because they're always the things that bore me in movies.
It's dull.
But early on, the action scenes were
Yes.
enthralling.
All right, let's go to spoilers now for Terminator.
But before we get to
Dark Fate.
spoilers, we both pretty much in agreement. Decent movie. Recommended if you like Terminator 1 and 2.
Yeah, if
Yeah?
you've any love left for the for the old Terminator franchise, then there's plenty to like in this. It
And
felt,
if you want to see a really, like, I would say, a very feminist movie with brilliant female actresses, go and watch it for that too.
it felt like just going back to the roots of the Terminator. Like now, to be fair, it did very little like new or original.
Yeah.
Some like it's more like.
It doesn't stand alone.
It's more like augments. They augmented the
Yeah.
idea of the Terminator. It's essentially the exact same plot that we've seen a million times. But
And
you
it's
know
not
what?
worth watching if you've never seen a Terminator. Like,
It's
I don't
okay.
think they heavily rely on you having seen a Terminator movie before.
You could probably get away with it.
I mean,
not
you
so
could
much.
follow it, but it wouldn't be as interesting.
Not to the level of, say, like a Breaking Bad movie based on a show which you need to have seen 5 seasons of and just didn't bother and just watched the pilot and the finale, for instance. You know, that's probably not the best way to view
No.
a movie. Anyway,
Right, spoiler
spoilers
street.
now for Terminator, Dark Fate, and I guess all the other Terminator movies.
Yeah.
Um,
First off, the opening of this movie, very odd.
what was the remind me?
It
what
was the
opening?
CGI'd Sarah and John Connor and
Oh my god, it was very convincing though.
Barney. The son, John Connor, was unbelievable.
Yeah.
As was Sarah. I guess Arnie was too. I guess they took old footage from the movies and just...
I thought that was
They
quite...
kind of look like Barbie doll versions of themselves.
Yeah, look, I mean, the technology is
It's
not
kind of
100%,
ethereal.
but it was about 98%. That's just getting creepy, how good that is.
Yeah.
Have you seen all that? It's called deep fake. Have you seen all this deep fake stuff on the internet?
Yeah, it freaks me out.
Yeah, you listeners, YouTube deep fake.
Yeah, but see, I don't mind because these actors all consent. Well, I'm presuming the guy who plays John Connor did. These actors are alive and consenting. I think it's fucked up when it's dead
Yes,
people.
actually,
and there's a
okay.
core difference there.
There's a brilliant-
Like when we saw that Star Wars movie a couple of years ago, and there was somebody who we know was actually dead, and they redid his face. Like, I think that's so unethical.
Yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin, Peter Cushing.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
interesting because that's
bizarre.
what Robin Williams said
And
when
it
he
looks
died. He
weird.
said no one can use his digital image. He stipulated it.
Yeah, too right. But that's the world we're moving into. There's a brilliant Radio Lab episode, which is a brilliant podcast on this whole thing because they can also they can also mask people's voices
Yeah,
now.
it's
So you
freaky.
can essentially just create somebody who looks and sounds exactly like somebody else and have them say anything by typing. That technology exists.
But anyway, that scene with at the beginning, it felt weird and fake, and I was like, "Huh, what's going on?" Like it felt a bit silly.
It's kind of shocking, though.
It was shocking, and then John died, and
unexpected.
Sarah was like crying, and I don't know. It nearly felt like a dream sequence or something. And then the movie kicks in, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit odd.
Well, don't forget, before that, we got that little scene of Sarah Connor in the mental institution from Terminator 2.
Yeah, that was cool.
Describing the end of the world. Cut to, I must say, the most studio logos I've seen in a movie
I
in
was
a long
thinking
time.
that. How many studios
like-
does it take to make a Terminator movie?
20th Century Fox presents a Skydance production in association with Paramount Pictures.
Yeah.
And then there was like two more. I was like, well, how?
And there was
what?
a load of writers and directors as well. Like a lot of people behind this movie.
Yeah. And then what happens? Then we get the usual thing: big old blue orbs and naked people, and like it hits all the familiar check boxes. There weren't any surprises in this movie. In fact, the one surprise it does land is the whole bit like, no, whatever your name is, Danny. No, Danny, it's not your son. It's you.
But that's
Which
what I enjoyed.
had been signposted. Yeah, but it had been signposted.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. You can find
so
those things.
far
Because I
ahead.
really enjoyed the conversation with her and Linda Hamilton, where Linda Hamilton saying,
They want your womb.
"Yeah, they want your womb, they don't want you." And
Yeah,
she's,
but I just felt that was on the nose.
yeah, but Dave, actually, I'm sorry, but I thought it was really valuable because it always has been like Linda Hamilton is just a womb. So I was really pleased that actually that wasn't the case in this movie, and I think they absolutely did the right thing by that.
Yeah,
so.
but I'm not disagreeing with you in the sentiment or the idea. The concept's good. The execution was poor.
Don't
As
agree.
In, like the dialogue was very literally like, they just want you for your womb.
Yeah, but
blah,
Dave, that's
blah,
actually
blah.
really important. You're talking about a country where slowly, state by state, women's reproductive rights are being eroded, and men literally control what's happening with women's wombs. Like abortion's being made illegal in multiple states as we speak. So actually, I think it is a good message, and I agreed with
But
the
hang on.
language they use.
Yes, but you're arguing with me now as if I'm on the other side of that argument.
No,
which
I'm just
not.
saying, I think sometimes language...
We're talking about a movie here, which
I'm
we just
saying
watched, and I'm
sometimes
judging
language
it on the
should be-
effectiveness of how it communicated that message.
I'm
which
saying
was
that I think
ineffective.
language should be blunt sometimes, and I appreciated that it was blunt there.
No, I don't agree. That's not what the point of cinema. It's supposed to be just blunt, hit us over the head
But
with
sometimes it
messages.
is, if you're making a point, and in this instance, let's agree to disagree, but I think it was a good use of language.
No, they may as well have the dialogue. In that case, the dialogue should just be like, women have been subjugated for too long.
No,
rise
because
up.
They were just making a specific point, like you're not just your womb. And then I also think it was really good when they and I thought it was a really interesting setting to set it on the Mexican border, where you have these detainees and somebody calls them prisoners, and she's like, they're not prisoners, they're detainees.
Yeah. Okay. Can we talk about that though?
So I really enjoyed that
'Cause
they
I thought-
brought that in as a setting.
Yes, but they didn't do anything or say anything of interest around that. And it's the same problem I had with Joker, in that, yes, everyone said, Joker raises so many important issues about mental health and the way society is failing people. But it's like, is it actually pointing to any of these things? Like, it was just texture, it was background. It was like, they had nothing to say about, this movie doesn't say anything about immigration or what's going on in the border in America. It just happens to be set there for a few minutes. And look, it's not necessarily this movie's place to do that either. It's a big, stupid, fun sci-fi action movie. But so I guess kudos on one side for just setting it in an interesting contemporary setting.
I thought it was a really interesting setting.
Yeah, interesting setting. But my point is, it's like they're not saying anything, and that's kind of what I'm getting at with what you're saying is they're raising important topics. I guess
I think it's important language to use for women.
Okay. Well, look, I don't look.
Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's talk about Carl.
Carl
The whole idea of Carl
best.
was just very entertaining, I thought. Here's a huge problem I have, though, and a loophole. Okay.
Why does he age? Will you remind me? I know they explained it in another movie.
Yeah. Oh wait, we've totally gone down the wrong way here.
No, we haven't.
This is like super dark. Let's not go down there.
No, it's fine. I'll just put my torch on. Come on.
Okay, yeah, that's better.
No, it's perfectly safe.
This is scary. This is Cinemile After Dark. Of course, this is no good to be describing how dark it is on a podcast.
We've recently moved house, so we've suddenly lived much further from the cinema than we did.
This is pitch black. What are we doing?
So we're walking home a different way than we usually do, and it's perfectly safe. If you never hear this recording,
oh my God, we're doing the Blair Witch. Whoever finds this recording. I don't like this.
Well, I mean, I don't like it either, but I'm not turning back.
Did you hear how
now,
quiet
come on, let's talk about Carl. Why does he age?
They explain it. They explained
before.
it in one of the ones, and it's essentially the answer they give is Arnold Schwarzenegger ages as well, so we have to have them age.
But was it because Terminator is human skin or something?
Yes, it's made my skin is a human fabric alloy which ages just like you do, and I have hairs and nostrils and blah blah blah.
Even though it doesn't make sense because when they burn up and explode, their skin just grows back again. Though his doesn't.
Does he?
Arnie's never does though because he's an old model.
Yeah, how does that work though? Do the T-800s have to go and get more skin?
I guess so.
Like if he cuts himself. He had a big old scar. Did you notice that on his face?
Honestly, I think I'm like amazed at how good Arnie looked. He looked incredible.
Yeah, he's holding together well.
And do you know what? He's a better actor than ever. Like he has
gotten a lot better with age.
He was a really good actor in this.
Yeah.
He delivered like the cheesy lines, which he's always done very well, but like with more subtlety than I would have thought possible.
But like the drape thing, the bit where he says, and he was going to put one collar in his daughter's bedroom, and I said, "Don't do it." That was great.
And I love
that actually
when
was
they're
worth
like,
the price.
Clearly, your wife. Oh, phew, we're through the scary bridge. When they go, clearly your wife knows what you are. You weigh 400 pounds and you don't sleep. And he's like, our relationship is not physical.
Well, actually, Linda Hamilton had some good one-liners as well.
They were great together. Like I loved seeing them on screen.
But I also liked that they kept Mackenzie Davis as the sort of the straight person with the mission. I liked the idea of her being augmented. That was interesting. And I liked the way that she could only do it in short bursts. You know, she was only kitted out to maybe do one fight, and then she needed a whole cocktail of drugs. That was an interesting mechanic. So that's what I'm kind of getting at. They injected enough sort of little quirky changes to the formula, but essentially it was to go back from the future, protect someone who's turning into the... Like, it may as well have been Terminator 2.
It was like a reboot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As opposed to a sequel.
Well, you get the phrase soft reboot thrown around a lot. That's what The Force Awakens was described as. You know, and it's just that, really. Which is like... In a way, it's like, this is... We're just being reheated the same sort of leftovers.
Yeah.
From a really good main course from last night. I don't know, I can't stretch this analogy.
We're walking around a really narrow road, so we're actually not next to each other now, so Dave doesn't know what to do when I'm not standing right next to him.
Awkward Cinemile.
This is very awkward.
Where are we going?
We may need to reconvene.
This is just bushes and...
we may need to replot our new...
It's like the environment is just closing in on us.
We need to replot our new route home now that we've moved house and it's winter and really dark. And I think this is much more than a Cinemile. But yeah...
what was that? Oh my God. Something moved.
Dave, come on.
Okay. Anyway, the plane bit was stupid. Why would
The
they
plane bit
pick a
was so
plane?
boring.
Of all the vehicles you pick, don't pick a plane. That's the worst thing.
But they had to get away from him.
Yes, but to get away from the thing that will hunt you no matter what.
I
and will
enjoyed how
destroy,
he could. Can we talk about how he could like melt
separate.
into machinery and just read every camera in the world in the space of like 4 seconds?
Yeah, but that's boring.
It was cool. And then how he
that's
turns
not
into
cool.
2 Terminators. That was so cool.
Seen that in every movie, every silly action movie for the last 10 years. That the bad guys are hackers.
No, but I just
Fast
liked
and
the
the
way his
Furious
arms became one with it. Like,
Oh yeah,
I
it was
thought
a cool
looked
effect.
Cool.
No, the cool bit was that
Why are you being so cranky with every point I bring up?
Sorry,
It's my birthday.
The cool bit. It's my birthday, so I should agree with everything you say. The cool bit for me was the fact that he was a T800 model mixed with a T1000. So it was like,
No, wasn't he like an R10 or something?
well, whatever they called him. I mean, it's not even. We're in a whole different universe now. Skynet's not even a thing, right? But as in, he was the traditional metal body Terminator with a T1000 sort of skin, and he could separate them. That was awesome.
What I thought was awesome was that he could separate, but then I didn't know why he kept joining himself back up as one again, because he had such an advantage when he was separate.
Because he's meant for infiltration. So he'd join back up when he needs to go chat
in some of the fight scenes, he just became one for no reason, so then they all had a target. So yeah, I found that a bit frustrating.
I don't know.
And can we talk about, there was like a definite loophole I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember it now. Oh yeah, so if Skynet never existed, right?
Yeah.
Why are they still called Terminators? Or is it just that Sarah Connor's calling them Terminators in this world?
No, because Mackenzie Davis calls it a Terminator.
Yeah, so that
obviously
doesn't make
that
sense.
language. I don't know. Maybe it's because if you sat down in a room with 10 people and said we need to name these killer robots, what will we call them? 9 times out of 10 they'll come up with Terminator, and I think that's what this movie's positing.
And also they also have the same model of relatively frequently sending machines back to the past to kill people.
Yeah, they have the same blueprints.
Business model. Like, I was like, this makes no sense. Like, the first Terminator since Arnold Schwarzenegger killed John Connor should have been these two. Sarah shouldn't have been doing it every 2 years.
But actually, this is kind of what I'm saying about like us not getting any new ideas. Like, if you're going to write an entirely new universe with a new threat and a new villain, just come up with something a little more interesting than Legion, which is, and what is he? He's a military AI that's taking over the. So it's Skynet with a different name.
I think that was kind of the point, though, that like for all the hard work Sarah and John did, it was inevitable anyway because of how humans exist. And even when Arnold Schwarzenegger said, like, you know, he's got this garage full of guns, and he's like, you know, even if Skynet never happened, there's still a 75% probability that humans would have just turned on each other anyway. Basically, they're trying to make the point that we're doomed, and AI is a part of it.
But hang on, how does Terminator 3 fit into this then? Because that's John Connor later.
No, you forget about Terminator 3. It never happened.
I don't understand.
I think this movie is Terminator 3.
Some YouTube channel somewhere is going to unpick all the timelines.
Do you know
of
what's
this. Let them
happened?
do it.
Terminator 3 never happened. It's like Skynet, okay?
Okay, so just forget about it.
And then this movie is Legion.
This is Terminator 3. Oh, this is Legion.
Yeah.
Terminator 3: Rise of Legion.
So yeah, that's what's happened.
I'm not interested in Legion. I'm not interested in their boring future. I'm like, give me something new. Like, basically, the fun bits of this were in the beginning when we were being chased by the Pez dispenser 10,000 or whatever he was called.
What did you think of the new Sarah Connor?
Boring.
I liked her.
Boring. And also
She
the
wasn't
worst.
given much to do.
No, and the worst scene in this movie is when it reveals that she is the future of humanity, and and she gives the most uninspiring speech I've ever heard for somebody who's supposed to be unite. She turned them into militiamen, and she turned them into soldiers, and she basically says something like, "Hey, put the knife down.
But
We should be fighting the machines. Don't you get it?"
No, but I think what was interesting about her character is
She was uncharismatic.
So she was with Sarah and I can't remember their names. Sarah Connor and Mackenzie, whatever. She was with them the whole time, and they were like very violent, forceful, physical women. But actually, in every scene that she was in, from the very beginning with her, someone in the market, to her dad, to her boss in the factory, to anyone she spoke to, including Arnold Schwarzenegger, she was always like getting to the core of what was wrong with them and like being very empathetic, and I think it's like that was her superpower. And so in that scene we saw her with the young girl saving her. She's not really supposed to be very forceful. What she's supposed to be is someone who's saying like, in it, you know, probably one of those people who builds an army from scratch one by one. She's just gaining hearts and minds of people, and she's just saying, you know, why are you doing this? This isn't what we should be doing. Granted, the speech wasn't great, but I felt like I liked that she was something different than what everyone else in the movie was.
I agree with that. I think you're giving the movie a little bit too much credit
I
here.
mean, yeah. But I think that was the intention.
I
She's
agree.
supposed to feel different, and she did. She felt much softer than the other two.
Certainly your explanation is a lot more interesting than what I saw on screen, which was hey guys, let's not fight, but we'll team up.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'd be like in a war situation.
I know, but it was pretty pathetic. Like there
I
was
just
no...
didn't recognise her. I was like, is it the same actress? I was confused because they had made her look different.
Anyway, I thought she was a bit dull. And the whole everything from the plane onwards was just a grey, blurry mess for me.
I
and I was
also
falling
like that it was a
asleep.
Mexican woman,
Yeah, that was
just
cool.
another white person.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's lots to say about it. But at the end of the day, if we like, lots of good things to say. But like, if we'd never seen it, we'd never care.
Yeah, no, it's not amazing, but it was good. Like
Yeah.
it was a good watch. It was a fun sit, a happy sit.
But I wouldn't
got
go
nothing
again
else.
now. Like I think I'm done now. Like I think if they make
Oh yeah,
another one,
like
I'm
if,
over
if
it.
this is a new trilogy of Legion movies, I'm out.
But I really want to see more of Linda Hamilton though. She's amazing.
Do you know what? It's like this felt a lot like the Halloween reboot
With
in
Jamie
many
Lee
ways.
Curtis,
Yeah,
yeah.
like Jamie Lee Curtis coming back, ignoring all the other sequels, just going.
Yeah, you're right.
It's essentially the same template.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah.
And then we saw Jamie Curtis in the trailer for the movie we're dying to see, which is Knives Out, which looks awesome.
Yes, that looks good.
Can't wait for that.
Here though, this doesn't make sense. Who put the coordinates on Mackenzie Davis, and how did they know that?
The woman, the Mexican
Arnold
woman, that's
Schwarzenegger
who her
would be there.
lieutenant is.
But how does she know that Arnold Schwarzenegger would be there?
Because I think this is where the universe can get a bit murky.
Yeah, don't
because they're
say
implying they're
continuous
complying
time theory.
They're implying continuous time
Yeah, but
theory.
you can have a continuous time loop if you've changed the future
well,
once.
I know, but I'm saying that's
You
what they
can't
were
have both.
implying.
I know they're implying that
A lot of
So-
movies cheat with time theory, and we get very cross about it.
cheat or get it wrong. So basically, what we're saying, everyone, is that if Danny is the one that put the coordinates on Mackenzie Davis's body because she has already lived through the events of the movie and knows that she needs to go there and knows that because she's experienced this movie, then that implies that there is only one fate. So Linda Hamilton's thing of there is no fate but that which we make does not make sense because that's a closed loop. She will always experience those things and then she will send Mackenzie Davis back and the same thing will happen.
Yeah.
And there's many clever movies that play within that, like Time Crimes, a very good Spanish movie. Or you
love
can have the
Time Crimes.
alternative like Back to the Future or Terminator, where you can go back
And change it.
and change it.
Okay, maybe where
You
she got
can't
the
have
coordinates
both.
then is Arnold Schwarzenegger said that the reason he was able to get coordinates every 2 years for when a Terminator dropped is that when something happens with time travel, it like releases a signal that he can pick up.
I mean, that was his explanation. yeah.
Maybe the signal can go the other way, and in that brief moment, his coordinates are being flipped up to the
They're being flipped
to the
upwards?
future that he never saw.
Yeah, okay.
I'm giving the movie some credit.
Wow,
here.
you were really defending this movie.
Look, it's my birthday. I'm in a good mood.
Okay.
Get me in a bad day, and I would be probably trashing this movie.
Basically, there's a lot of loose threads here in this movie that I don't think.
I just think I want
Were explained very
coordinates
well.
tattooed on my stomach.
It's awesome. I'm getting that
it looks
tattoo.
awesome.
Yeah.
I
Do you
loved
know-
her design. You know the way she had those funny lines
Yeah,
all
they're
down
scars.
her skin.
They look like scars from where they obviously had opened her up and put some sort of metallic mesh under her skin.
Yeah, she was really cool. I loved her.
She was class. So yeah, a lot to like in this. It was fun. Ultimately, not amazing,
But we should stop talking about
but
it
hey,
now.
Judy
We're
was
walking
better.
down another darkened road. Judy was a 1,000 times better, but I promise you in our Twitter poll, everyone's going to vote for this review to be out first.
Yeah, so you'll all be hearing this first. But go see Judy, everyone.
Go see Judy.
If you can see that.
Go see Judy. Don't
That's
go.
a lot. That's
if you're going to do a double bill, it's a good double bill. To be fair, I felt like they were nice and, felt very different movie experiences.
Very different.
It was funny because we went back to the same cinema twice in one day. Like, we literally had left, gone home and come back again.
Yeah, and I'm sure the staff were raising their eyebrows.
They were. We were in our favourite cinema, the Light Cinema.
Very
And
good cinema.
the woman behind the bar, I was like, both times, can I have a glass of water, please? Because I'm pregnant and can't sadly get myself a bottle of wine. And she was like, did a double take the second time and looked at me, and like I could see that she felt like she was having deja vu.
Did she do one? What? Did she do one of those?
She said, are you still here? Or did you leave?
All right.
Yeah, so we better go.
Let's wrap it up.
We haven't asked you guys in a while, but we would really appreciate if you are listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, if you would rate, subscribe, and leave us a nice review. Please, you just search Apple Podcasts, you do it there. It's very straightforward, and we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, and wait, am I supposed to say something now?
No.
There was a long pause there. Right, yeah, thanks. We're also on, go chat to us. We're
You
on
were really thinking about that.
The Cinemile and Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, or email us thecinemaile@gmail.com. If you like what we're doing here, we also have a Patreon where you can support the show and get access to our bonus podcast feed with loads of retro movie and TV reviews. That's patreon.com/thecinema.
Yeah, so recent reviews over there. We did Succession Season 2. We're just about to watch The Rock.
Oh yeah, so
by the
time
movie polls.
by the time you're hearing this, we will have an episode up there on The Rock, Michael Bay's best movie, if you ask me.
Michael Bay make The Rock?
Yeah?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm less excited about watching it now. All right.
What?
Yeah.
I just told you it's one of his best movies.
Yeah, but I've seen his worst movies.
So
So it's
don't
not inspiring
totally write off
confidence.
the man's work. He did
Okay.
some great stuff.
Let's go. Thanks everyone for
Armageddon.
listening.
Questionable. Okay, bye everyone.
I'll be back.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
What do you do when no one else is watching? What do you do that makes you happy for no reason at all? What are you obsessed with? I'm Leslie Arfin, and I'm a writer, but I'm also a dancer, a painter, a vapor, a dollhouse enthusiast, and basically just an overall hobbyist. My podcast, Filling the Void, is all about what other people are fanatically into. We talk about hobbies, even if you don't have one.
Listen to Filling the Void on Tuesdays on the Erios Network and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.